Hey everybody, it's time for another update from Just Plain Chris's workshop. The Cap 21 continues, but we've had a bit of a change in direction. In the last video, I was talking about using that Magnum 91 four-stroke. I got it rebuilt, got the new bearings in it, ran it, and changed my mind. So, as you can see here, I sat down at the computer and drew up a motor box that also doubles as a battery box and laser cut it and glued it in, and it works really well. Motor sits way out here, but that puts it in the right place for the prop opening. This is the motor from the OMP 60-inch Edge that I crashed, and it should have plenty of power for this, more than enough. The battery will slide in right here, and yes, the battery needs to be that far forward to balance this thing. It's got a very short nose moment, but 6S5000 somewhere between here and all the way up behind the motor will get the CG pretty close. So the cowling, of course, I had to close up the openings that were cut for the motor. Just plugged those with balsa and sanded them. Got to do the filling and priming, although the filling is getting a lot better. You can see the battery hatch actually extends up into the cowling. So I had to, I didn't want to have to take the wing on and off to change batteries. So that's when I came up with the idea of using the battery box, or the motor box as the battery holder, and go in from the top. So the hatch was cut from the top of the fuselage and part of the cowling. It's got some little angled pieces made out of popsicle sticks on the bottom, and the big tongue depressor style in here to match that. And this little latch I found on printables.com. It was smaller than this, but I just enlarged it, and it works really well. Let's see if I can get it to work with the cowling loose. It might be a little bit tricky and doing it with one hand, but oh, there we go. So it just snaps on, and it's kind of odd having the latch facing forward, but that makes for a handy tab to open it up. And I didn't have room to put it back here because that's where the canopy starts. So I actually, you can kind of see, I filled it in. I had actually cut it to put it back there and then realized, oh crap, I can't get my finger in there. So moved it to the front. It's going to work well. Those gaps will be a little bit tighter when it's all screwed together. The wing is covered. Turned out nice. At the bottom there, you can see the openings for the servos. This is where the landing gear bolts in. I may end up putting a piece over here to kind of blend it in with the bottom of the fuselage. I haven't really decided that yet. Top turned out pretty good. A little bit of a shrinkage gap right there, but that won't be visible. I mentioned in the last video that there were openings in the wingtips to balance it. It ended up using 6 30 caliber lead balls in the end of one wingtip to get it to balance laterally. That's about 18 grams. It's not too bad. But, oh, and my pilot. I decided to put a pilot in it. Went for something fun and, silly. So he's 3D printed out of lightweight PLA. Doesn't weigh much at all. What else? DLG. I built this several years ago from a kit that a guy saw it on RC Groups originally, and he was making a few kits for it, and I ordered 2 of them, built one, still have one in the box. It is unusual in that it's an all-wood DLG except for the carbon tail boom. It's not as light as a fully molded one, but it's also a heck of a lot cheaper, and it still flies well and is a lot of fun. I hadn't been flying it much. The receiver that I had in it had, I don't know, I guess it had a bad antenna or something. The range was terrible. So I tried putting new antennas on it and it didn't help. So tech with it, I bought a brand new FreeSky Archer GR6 glider receiver. And it's got the built-in altimeter and variometer so you can hear your up and down tones. And it's a tiny little thing. This is the receiver battery. I run this on a 1-cell LiPo. But yeah, the receiver, there it is down in there. You can see my finger is scaled. That's a 6-channel receiver with an altimeter and variometer. And, damn servo connectors are almost as big as the receiver. but works great. And then I can hit a switch on my transmitter and hear the variometer tones and all that. Really need to do a better magnet on this so that I don't have to slide this Velcro strap over the canopy to hold it on, but if I don't, it flies off when I throw it. But this little guy, it's been through a lot of abuse. You can see this repair on the leading edge here. That was the result of an unfortunate meeting with a tree. And I just glued a piece of pink foam in there and sanded it down and glassed over it and recovered it. This is covered with Doculam, the clear document laminating film, and it's painted on the inside with the fluorescent spray paint on the top. And then the bottom, I just painted the wood black and covered it in clear. So it gives it a really nice look in the air. And it's a lot of fun. If you've never tried DLGs, I recommend it. Gliders in general, I enjoy. I enjoy working the air and reading the air and paying attention to what's going on with the very faint changes in wind direction. And this thing is best flown between like 10 and noon, 10 in the morning and noon, because that's when the low level lift really starts to come up. And it's so much fun to throw this thing into those tiny little bubbles and work it up and out. I've had 15-minute flights with this. I've reached altitudes of 399.99 feet several times. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Highly recommended. What else? I think that's really about all that's been going on in the workshop. I just kind of wanted to bring y'all up to date on this Cap 21 project and the fact that it's had a complete change in power system. And it's getting pretty darn close. I'm going to turn it on right now. I'm going to turn on the covering iron and get this section recovered and try to get that cowling painted today and then start doing servo installation. So the next update, I'm guessing this thing's going to be finished and I can show you what it looks like. Till then, have fun, get out there and fly something.